So, Tim, tell us about what you hate. What pisses you off?
Right now, what pisses me off is these developers not giving me what the fuck I want. Okay, let's talk about Final Fantasy Tactics for a minute. So, super excited about the remasters, but they're changing things. And the more I've read that they wanted to like keep the integrity of the original, I get that, but they're giving us the original but with changed dialogue. And then they're giving us the remastered, and I know that, like, some of the stuff was in the English version only and on the Japanese version, but they're taking stuff away, like the ability to do certain things. They didn't include any of the additional jobs from the War of the Lions version, which I think is actually a better version than the original version. Original's amazing, but the War of the Lions just kinda added on some stuff that made it even better. And then they added no new characters, no new jobs because they wanted to be as close to the original as they could make it with a little bit of extra stuff. But it's like they kind of picked and choose what they wanted. Like they said, "Oh, well, we want you to have the same experience you had in the original, but we're going to take the dialogue from the War of the Lions version and just X everything out." So it's kind of like they pick and choose. And I think that that's very I don't understand that mindset, like, and also not adding new stuff to the remaster, like, the original that you have on there, yeah, keep it like the original. I want that. I love that. Like, I think every remaster should have the original version intact with it. There's no reason to not have that. But when you do that, you give us somewhat of an original version where you change the dialogue, and then you give us a remaster and you give us nothing new. When you could do that, you could give us more jobs. You could expand on certain things. You could have given us multiplayer, like in the War of the Lions version. But you just kind of chose not to. It just kind of seems to me like they're just kind of picking and choosing certain things, and that they're very out of touch with what the actual the gamers want, because I have not heard one good thing about any of these changes from anybody, and I agree with that. It's very frustrating. So that's my rant.
Pisses me off that they're not putting lightning in it. But
That effect because I mean, the latest.
here's a devil's advocate take. As you guys know, I'm extremely passionate about the 2D Final Fantasy games. That's my favorite era. So with the Pixel remasters, when they announced those, I was like, I wanted it to just be like as close to the original as possible, because a lot of the other ports that have come out over the years just kind of like added unnecessary stuff, just kind of messed with it too much, made the difficulty too like just easy with all the stuff they added. So I just wanted it to be as purist as possible, because that's kind of like my brain and what I want. And they did that, but they messed it up in other ways, and that can be saved for another time. But to add on to your point, Tam, is where I definitely agree with you. The fact that they're already giving us the original port with this new version, I think that they had to expect disappointment when they didn't add in War of the Lions stuff with the remaster version.
Mhm.
Because, like, when I saw that they had like the original version and the remaster together in a package, it's like, that's amazing. That's what I want with every port. Like, I want like a version of Final Fantasy 1 that has the NES version, the Wonder Swan PS1 version, Game Boy Advance, PSP, Pixel Remaster, just kind of like every version put into one. so that you're keeping all of those alive. That preservation is there.
Mhm.
So when I saw that this remastered, it's like that's a really great start and direction. But I'm not as familiar with tactics as you, so when you're talking about these differences, I really don't know what you're talking about. I never played the War of the Lions version either, but I think that's a missed opportunity. They probably should have added that in the remastered version and still kept the original too.
Can I give you a little bit about the Genji armor, the debacle that's going on right now? A little bit of
Sure. Yeah.
okay. So with the Genji armor, there's one boss in the whole game that has it, and this is a very tough fight. This is a fight where it's a boss and two sub bosses, and they can one shot kill you. Like it's a very tough fight. But you can steal in the English version, you could steal the entire Genji set of armor from this guy and the Masamune weapon. So if you got I used to do this all the time in the original where I'd steal that gear, and that's like the best gear in the game. It's the best gear you could get. So, but you can only get one set of it, and that's the only way you could get it that I can recall. So now they've taken it and said, well, we didn't want that to originally happen, but it could happen. So now we're making it 0. So that gear is no longer obtainable, even though there's people who for 30 years now have been stealing that gear from this boss, and that's just a part of the game that we played. That's just we thought, okay, that is, and it's a challenge. It's not something that's easy to do. It's a very big challenge. You have to prepare for that battle. You die a lot and reload. It's not something that's easy to do. So I just it just really kind of infuriated me because every time I get to that fight, there's two different parts of that fight. I'm not going to tell you the other part because it's kind of a spoiler, but that's one of the things that I would always plan for and do in that. And even when you have experience doing it, you die a lot.
Yeah.
So it's just something that I always kind of felt it was like a really big challenge. Like you have in every Final Fantasy, you have these fights that are like really, really hard. I really felt like this was one of those things that was really hard to obtain. Really hard to get that whole set of gear. If you steal one piece and then win the fight, like you got one piece, but you don't have the whole set. But if you can steal the whole set and win the fight, that's to me that's an accomplishment. That's a pretty good challenge. And for
Mm.
them to be like, no, we never intended for it, we're going to take that out. I think they should have done the exact opposite. I think they should have said, hey, you can now do that in all versions. The drop rate, the steal rate's super low. It always was, but you can do that. And that's a challenge. Maybe make it a trophy. I don't care. But it's just one of those things that I think instead of being like, we never intended for that, so we're going to take it out, really frustrates me. And there's other pieces of gear in the game that follow that same, where they're very hard bosses and they have a piece of gear that you can only get from them. And I'm curious if they've done the same thing to those bosses where they've taken that gear and made it a 0% steal rate.
Yeah. I definitely understand your feelings, and I'll say this real quick, and then anyone else can jump in. But Ross had said where he looked up and saw that it was something that wasn't in the Japanese version. Uh, so they're making this more like the Japanese version, like that. Um, there's gonna you they have to know that a lot of their players are going to expect that. It's kind of like if they ported Final Fantasy VII to modern consoles without the Emerald and Ruby weapon
Mhm.
fights, because those weren't in the Japanese version either. That was something
Mhm.
that was just came with the Western releases. So, I mean, if they did that, it's like, yeah, that's like the original version, but it's like, but come on, it's that's kind of like something people expect now
Mhm.
is to be able to fight the weapons, you know. So I understand what you're saying, for sure.
Ditto Tim.
Same.
I don't know where I really stand on like I guess like I don't really know where my stance is about the remaster of like I don't know. I don't think I have enough information, especially with like I don't know. I think if they botch the difficulty, I think that's gonna be like my or like I don't know if they like rebalance things in a way that make it like just dumbed down, like compared to like the original. Like I think I would be a little bit like less receptive to getting it. I don't even have it pre-ordered yet. I mean,
Oh. Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I could do my pissed off rant about what you just said, like with the modern Square Enix Final Fantasy ports, but I don't know. I don't think you guys want to hear that,
Let it out.
or do you? Okay. So I was thinking about this earlier today. You guys know my brother IJ, right? You know how he feels about RPGs and Final Fantasy, right?
yeah.
What does he think?
I know you told me that like turn-based RPGs to him are like it's like navigating a DVD menu.
Yeah. He hates RPGs. He hates that. He hates Final Fantasy gameplay or any turn-based RPG. He hates it. The fact that IJ has beaten Final Fantasy 1 and 3, the Pixel remasters, should tell you everything you need to know about the neutering that went on with those ports. Like the original NES games, I think, are all pretty challenging, satisfyingly. But they made them so easy that even somebody who hates RPGs and hates Final Fantasy just beat them with ease. Just no effort at all.
Mhm.
And I understand the side of it where it's like, well, um, you're letting more people to be able to play it. And I get that. I like that more people can play it, but to me, they're like two totally different games. Like, especially like FF2 original and FF2 Pixel Remaster. They're two totally different games. So are you really playing Final Fantasy 2 when you're playing the Pixel Remaster? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to go further into like my thoughts on ports and stuff, let's take Final Fantasy 1, my favorite game. Um, I think that all of the ports except for the PlayStation 1 version have had things that they've added or messed with that have just been totally unnecessary and have kind of like ruined the pure experience of the game. I think the PS1 version is like the best remake for sure because they tried to keep like the as much of the original difficulty intact as possible while also adding just kind of like obvious quality of life improvements. But even still, they had like I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys might remember this, I forgot, but don't they have the option in the PS1 version where you can have it where you have to like carefully select the monsters that you attack?
Yes.
Because yeah, because in the NES version, if you have two characters attack one monster and the first character
Mhm.
kills that monster, the second character is going to hit nothing, you know?
Correct.
And it added a lot of like strategy to every single battle you get in, you know? And I was, yeah, exactly. And like the GBA, the PSP, and the Pixel Remaster versions of FF1 are just hold A the whole time, just, you know?
Mhm.
And that can be fun and everything, especially if it's like you're playing those versions after like original versions, you know. But I don't know. I just kind of have like this weird purist mindset, and like I think Final Fantasy 3, like the 3D remake, the things that change from the original, man, it's 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 so annoying. Yeah. The most iconic thing in Final Fantasy 3, the most iconic thing is the Onion Knight, right? The remake of Final Fantasy 3 like locked the Onion Knight behind this really lame side quest and you could only access it through the internet on the DS. That's dumb. Imagine if they remade FF7 and the Buster Sword is locked behind this stupid side quest and you can only access it through Wi-Fi. You know, that's dumb. Or even just cloud in general, you know? And
I feel like it'd probably be better to say like Knights of the Round or something.
well, I'm
Or if they
getting
just
to
hand you
that.
Knights of the Round. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm getting there. That's kind of comparable to something else. In the original FF3, the ninja and the sage, those are like the ultimate powers of the game. And it's a reward for making it to the end of like the super dungeon, Eureka, at the end of the game. But in the DS version, they just hand you the ninja and the sage, and they're not as good. They hand it to you with the earth crystal.
It's really dumb.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like why would you do that? That's like the ultimate power. That's the iconic like the Ninja, the Sage, and the Onion Knight, those are like iconic Final Fantasy 3 thing powers that you get. So like what Ross was saying, that's like if all of a sudden, like just in the main story, someone just hands you Knights of the Round. Oh, here you go. And it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like so I mean, sometimes when you're I guess just like too obsessed with something and they like change things, it can really piss you off. I totally feel you, Tim. I don't personally understand because I'm not a tactics guy. I only beat the game once, but um, I'm just surprised that Square. I'm guessing they think these things through, but I don't know why they make these decisions. I don't know.
I I think that's the hard part for me is like I've been trying to wrap my head around it. Like, in what meeting did they have where this was all thought to be like no backlash? Like this is a great idea. This is what we want to do. And I really feel like, and it, and of course their job is they're making these games and I don't know how to develop a game and I don't know the difficulty of it. And I know they lost the source code for tactics, so they had to do a lot of work. There was a lot of work done in this, but you know, I just think if I were doing this and a fan, like someone who is a super fan of this game, it's my second favorite Final Fantasy, and they were sitting in the room, what do you want out of the game? For starters, I still want the original with the original dialogue, as bad as it is. I want that version, which they gave us the original, but the updated dialogue. Whatever, we got the original. But for the remaster, I said I want more jobs. I want more characters. I want, more dungeons, more weapons, more armor. The two-player mode that you had, and again, if they're like, we can't deliver all of this, that's fine. That's whatever, but something, just something, you know, the two-player mode that they had on the War of the Lions. My brother and I played it, and it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. And it was the only way you could get certain armor and weapons. But I just keep thinking of it from the perspective of a fan, of someone who loves this game, and I've played it a million times. If they were to say, "What do you want out of this?" This is what I would want out of a remaster. And the fact that I mean, I don't know if this is true, but I saw this where they said that they had been working on this since 2018, I think it was, when they started working on Tactics Remastered. That's a long time to work on a remaster of a game. To not add anything and I'm saying this without having played it, without adding anything substantially new, that I think would make it take 6 years, 7 years. So I don't know. It's just, again, I'm not a developer, but I just think that they're kind of out of touch with what people want. And again, you're not going to make everybody happy. There's going to be people who, when Final Fantasy 17 comes out, there's going to be people who are like, this looks amazing. There's going to be people that are like, man, I don't like this. Not every game is for every person, and that's fine. But as someone who is a super fan of Final Fantasy Tactics, I had expectations of what I wanted out of it, at least some of it, and they didn't deliver on any of it. So, yeah.
Well, for the sake of ports, I think there is a way to please everyone. You can have both versions.
Yeah, you can. In this case, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Or even just like add options, that would be nice. I mean,
That's one thing. Oh, what were you saying, Ross?
I know there are some interesting changes that I've seen about the remaster. I mean, I heard that they're adding like 60% more like the script is like 60% longer than like the original. So I guess like
Mhm.
they have the ability to like I guess add more interactions like among characters, and like I heard that we're supposed to be getting like the sound novel with it. Like
Oh,
I didn't even know we even had a sound model or novel. I mean, I would just kind of like I learned about that a couple days ago. I was like, huh, that's neat.
well, there's a lot that wasn't in the English version when it came over. Like, if you go to the bar and you do these little tiny quests where you just send three of your characters out to do stuff, they can come back. They can find like the black materia or civilizations or different areas. Like, they come back and they find like these key items. Well, in the Japanese version, they had an additional option for these where they could learn more about these. For us, we just get like a little blurb. Oh, your people found the black materia. But, they had more options for this. They also had the soundtrack. I believe it was the soundtrack was on the game itself. Like, you could play it and go in and listen to the music of the game from the game itself. So there were major differences between them. Um, but yeah, so and the 60% dialogue, I know that the big thing that they've said is that there's more dialogue in battle. There's more character interactions they've created, which I love that. I think that's great because they added that in the War of the Lions where like Mustadio has a crush on another character or whatever. And if you do the right things, you can see this sort of play out a little bit and get more backstory for those characters. I think that's great, and I love that. There was also something that and I agree with this, characters that are extremely important, and that still should be important and have dialogue throughout the game. But at some point, it's like they ran out of time. They just like cut those characters off, and there's like no more dialogue from those characters from chapter 2 on. Even though that they are a main character and they are very directly affected by the plot that's going on, you would think that they would have more dialogue. So I don't know how much of that is that 60%, or if they've actually added more actual story to the game itself. I know that they did mention that you get Cloud earlier now. You can get him earlier in this version.
Mhm.
So I don't know, but I'm kind of curious though how much more dialogue, the 60%. I wonder how much, if you were to compare War of the Lions to the original, how much more dialogue they had in that version versus the original as well. For reference, you know.
Mm. Well, what about this scenario, Tim? Let's say that the remastered version didn't include the War of the Lions stuff, like the job classes they added and characters, playable characters. But instead in the remastered version, they kind of added different new jobs and different characters. Like
Mm.
instead of Balthier, there's Clive from 16.
Yeah.
Instead of like the Dark Knight and Onion Knight, you get like Viper and something else. You know what I mean? How would
Yeah.
you feel if they did that?
So I would be okay with that because I'm looking for something in the remaster that's new, and I know that they're trying to get away from the War of the Lions version, even though they're using the dialogue from it. I would be okay with that. I would still wish that those other jobs were in the game and those characters were in the game. But if they added something, like let's say they said, "Oh, we added a new job. We added Blue Mage and we added, like you said, Viper, you know, or even the ability to play as jobs that are already in the game, like Rune Knight, Holy Knight, as a not as a certain character getting it, like Ogrius is a Holy Knight, but as each character, there's like a generic character model for a Holy Knight where you can now make your characters, your party, and you can have them upgraded to a Holy Knight, and they have their own, icon and everything like that. Like those are things that are already exist in the game. Like there are characters in the game that have jobs that are specifically for them, and you see them, and you can go into their moves list in combat and see it. So those jobs already exist. They're just not playable by the player. And that always, even in the original, always frustrated me that your brother Zalbag, he's like a rune knight. And he's the only rune knight you see in the game, but he's a rune knight and he has his own abilities. And that always bothered me that that was an unattainable job by your party. Always bothered me. So if they added new jobs, that would be great. I would really love it if they would add the Dark Knight and stuff. I think the reason why I'm so mad overall right now, and maybe after playing it, I won't feel this way because there will be things that I'm like, oh wow, like these changes are amazing. But not only did they not add anything, but they took what some people might consider small, but they took things away.
Something that you
So,
found enjoyment in, like whenever you originally played it. Yeah.
oh yeah, because like the Genji armor, some people are like, I don't know what the big deal is. They've probably never played the game, or they've played it maybe once. But for me, I always look forward to that battle because it's a sequence of battles, and I always look forward to stealing that gear and then equipping it and having it for the rest of the game. So I don't know if they added something that would have been great. Um,
Well,
but
it's
they
like
didn't add anything. They just kind of took things away.
the Spyro remake, like the remakes of like the first three Spyro games. Like in Spyro 2, there's this glitch where you can, if you pressed jump and charge at in a certain combination, like it would allow you to basically jump twice as high, and you
Huh.
could bypass a lot of things. Like you would even like go out of boundaries and stuff with it. And with that remake, like that's gone. And
Uh-huh.
like and also like the way the character, like the way Spyro's controllable is like the way that you press like you like this little hop at the end of a glide if you press triangle like a certain like in that they just kind of with like the Spyro 1 version, it like really bothered me. And then like and also I guess to appeal to a modern audience, like they removed like guns and stuff from the game, like
Uh,
and also like I'm trying to think what was it like a lot of the sound effects are also like very like I guess like a lot of like the redesigns of like some of the characters like they're meant to I guess like appeal to like people who like minions and all that crap. So it's like I mean, and I'm like, man, that really sucks that like the Reignited trilogy's like this.
that
Mhm.
does suck.
I mean it, but I guess like at the end of the day, like I could always go back to the originals and stuff, but I don't know, it just kind of sucks that that's like the version that's out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And if they made the War of the Lions version playable, if they said, "Hey, we're going to add the War of the Lions version playable on current consoles as well, no trophies, but it's you have it." Fine. I'll play the War of the Lions version after I platinum the original remaster or whatever.
Mm,
I don't see why they can't just do that because like they did that with like Valkyrie Profile Lilith.
Mhm.
yeah. I I think this all just ties into how important game preservation is. Something you said, Ross. You said I can always play the original. Yeah, I mean, you have access to that, but there's a lot of younger people that than us that they don't have like the old hardware we have and the old like versions of games, and
Or even
it's becoming less and less um accessible.
or even just like knowing like the means of access to it because like I don't know
Yeah.
like yeah like I guess like we have certain privileges like on that front because like we grew up in an era where like we could just go in and I mean we still have some of us still have copies of like our original games and then
Mhm.
or we bought them on like the PSN whenever they were like ports or what have you. It's just or
Mhm.
like other routes that I can't really specify on this chat. um, that a lot of younger people probably don't know how to get to it. A lot of the places are getting shut down anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, game preservation is a big deal. I think that every game that's ever been made needs to be accessible on current consoles.
That plus, I feel like gotcha games, whenever they end of service, they should release an offline. I feel like they should release an offline version, especially for people who like put money into the gambling on that.
Yeah. Like the Final Fantasy VII First Soldier game. Like, unless you existed at this time and happened to be able to play it for the 6 months it was active, you know, it's just
TS.
completely, yeah. I mean,
Well,
there's been so many mobile Final Fantasy games, and some of them are actually way good. Like
yeah.
the Opera Omnia game was really good. I actually played it a little bit, and Mobius, I loved that game. Um,
Did you
and
play
there
First
was
Soldier?
no, I didn't play that one,
See, I played it and I actually liked it. And I'm like, why is this not on consoles? This is fun. I enjoyed it.
or at least on Steam, because Ever Crisis is on Steam. Mobius was on Steam, so I've been able to play those, you know. But Ever Crisis is going to be shut down in the coming years,
I'm
and
pretty I'm pretty miffed about like we never even got this over in the States, but like Final Fantasy picked Logica. Like
uh,
Mhm.
it was a marriage of like Picross. I love Picross. I love the hell out of Picross. And Final Fantasy. Give it to us, you freaking cowards.
would have been cool if it was a lacrosse game.
I'd rather shove a cross like a crucifix up my ass.
Well, do we want to keep going down the game preservation conversation or start talking about crucifixes?
We just stick with game
Crucifixes
conservation.
making us holy, man.
But I'll give an example of a change that I actually welcome. And I was just thinking about it just now about changes to, whenever they remaster or bring something. And that's like Suikoden 2. In the original version of that, there was a gate that you could push to go to uh, a zone that's like level, like, I think it was like level 40. And you could actually get two characters early in the game that are like level 40. And you're like level 10 at this point. So it kind of breaks the game. But it was a bug that they couldn't fix because it was on the PlayStation. They fixed it in Suikoden 2 Remastered. And that's the kind of fix that I think is a welcoming fix. not like taking things away that you should have.
Hmm.
I'm gonna glaze on Square Enix right now. I re- I love that in Saga Frontier, like that is probably like one of the best like remasters I've ever like played
Mm.
from them, because not only do like they retain like the integrity of the game, they also add like another scenario.
Yep.
Like it's like that's freaking amazing.
And it's weird because that I love the Saga Frontier, but it's weird to me that they did that for that game because that's not really one of their top. You know what I mean? It's not like one of their front running games.
I
But
guess
they put that work in, and I love that.
I guess like whichever team that's behind it, like they they're given a lot of chance to give a lot of love to it.
Mhm.
And also I need to get Romancing Saga, like the remake of 2 that came out. Gosh, it looks really I tried the demos, like really fun.
Yeah, it's
What's
good.
what's the Saga series you guys are talking about? Square doesn't put out turn-based games. They hate turn-based. Remember?
Mm.
Yeah. And Bravely, I mean, like nah, they're just more like chicken shitley default. It's
I'm
stupid.
actually my feelings are a little hurt on that game because I want it, but I don't have a Switch 2.
I
So
think that I think that might have been like one of those things where they like released like they put it out like like they're kind of like I wonder if they're like basically like being grabbed by the balls by Nintendo on that.
I think so, probably.
But they also added like there's also like a feature in it that like I guess like showcases like one of the features of the Switch 2 controller, like the Joy-Cons, where you get to use it as a stupid mouse. It's a stupid mini game. I really freaking hate it, by the way. It's like there even though I love rhythm games, it is really awkward to control. And there's also like I guess like a shoot 'em up thing, but I haven't played the shoot 'em up mode because like I really hate when Nintendo does that like we want to try to do this novel thing that's very like gimmicky. I mean, but that's I guess that's very on brand with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nintendo. I I don't play anything Nintendo anymore. It's so weird. I don't know. Like the last first party Nintendo thing I played, other than the Super Mario RPG remake, though that was a remake, so it doesn't count, but I think was Super Mario Odyssey, and that was
That's a good game.
2017. That just shows how much I did not play the Switch. I just, I don't know. I just, I don't feel like I have much reason to play Nintendo stuff anymore. I really liked Breath of the Wild, but then when Tears of the Kingdom came out, I just instantly felt tired, and I just don't think I'll ever play that game.
Mhm.
That's another weird thing. We don't have to go down this road, but sometimes when like certain franchises take like a very like different direction, like I'll play that new game in that direction and I'll really love it, but then I'll never play another one again because I played the older ones a lot. Like I played all the 2D Marios. Then I played Mario 64, which was very different, and I love Mario 64. And then I didn't play another mainline Mario game until Odyssey.
Yeah, didn't you
And
say that you played like Sunshine and then like
well, I did for like an hour or something. Uh, I played Mario Sunshine for when it came out for like an hour, and I just didn't. I wasn't feeling it. And then I played Wind Waker when that came out for an hour, and I wasn't feeling it. And then I just kind of quit video games for a few years. So maybe that's what happened with me and Nintendo. I don't know, but yeah, Mario's one, Zelda's one, Breath of the Wild. I played that. I loved it, but I don't think I'll ever play another open world Zelda game. I just can't do
Mhm.
it. Castlevania. I love the old 2D games a lot. That was one of my most played franchises on the NES. Symphony of the Night came out. I played it. I loved it. And then I never played another Metroidvania, Castlevania. I touched Portrait of Ruin for a few hours at one point, and that was it. But it's weird.
I
I
think
just
the
have this
best.
weird pattern.
I think you'd probably like the GBA ones, like Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, and Aria. Yeah, Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, and Aria of Sorrow. Yeah, those three. Like those are great. And then like the DS ones, yeah, they're kind of a dip in quality.
I think I'd like them, but I guess like the old Castlevania games were just kind of like a kickback and play. Like you don't really have to think. You just kind of play this hard side-scrolling game. Metroidvania ones, it's there's a lot of navigation, and I guess it just kind of overwhelms me before I even start.
A lot of backtracking and what have you.
Yeah, I'd rather just play a stage-based, challenging Castlevania game.
Mm.
So, Brandon, tell us what makes you mad. Well, tell us, what's the Smash Brothers thing you hate so much?
Mm.
No, we don't want to do this.
Nintendo did that? Yeah, jeez. I forgot you used to do that. That you used to play in Smash tournaments and stuff. Good. Play the lonely games like the rest of us, Brandon. Like all this social gaming crap that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't played Dungeons and Dragons since the 90s. That was only like a few times.
Played it 3 weeks ago.
I just remembered something that brings my piss to a boil.
That is-
Um, so video game storefront, like any type of like video game storefront, like Steam, eShop, PSN, and how you can't block certain publishers,
Mhm.
like because or even just like delist those freaking games because like um so I've mentioned this to you all before, but like if you get on the Nintendo Switch and you go on the eShop, you're you're gonna like run into like a gazillion iterations of the same freaking game by like Red Deer Games because what they do, they re-release the same game every 3 weeks or so, and then they'll take like a random break because they're like, I'm guessing they're like, oh, we don't want to get caught doing this, and then they'll do it to another like one of their games, like one of their hundreds of games that they helped publish, and then they'll re-release it with a different edition name like Magnificent Edition, Ultimate Edition, like Game of the Year Edition, shit fuck edition, like I hate it. I really like. It's like, why do they have to have so many freaking versions of every freaking game?
Are
And
those
then
the ones that are always like $2.99?
yeah,
Like that?
because and then if you try to go and like get the original edition, they're like they're not discounted. They're like full price. Even though even though like from what I could tell, like allegedly they're the same fucking game.
That Nintendo store is I don't know about the Switch 2, but the Switch store is terrible. Like, it lags so bad, and I'm pretty sure that's why.
Yeah, like because it's flooded with like hog shit.
Hog shit Game of the Year edition.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like, oh yeah, hentai alarm clock, triple A's up your urethra, like painted plus edition.
Jeez.
Oh, but they're gonna release they're gonna release painted beautiful edition 3 weeks later though.
Can't wait for
Or
that one.
my cat farts on a calculator. I don't know, just freaking dumb. I hate it.
They're like fan group and communities for these games online. Like,
Maybe.
like I
And
want to
then
talk to these people that are like fans of these franchises and be like, "What do you think of this? Do you?" It's like, "Oh man, I love that I get a new version every 3 weeks."
it's like I only have to pay like $3 for it. Or
Yeah,
like the PlayStation Network where like it's like I don't know, like AI is kind of a touchy topic, but there are so many freaking like very clearly AI games that are just kind of just like farted out on like Sony's conveyor belt.
Yep.
yeah, I don't like that.
It
And it's
drives me
just
entirely insane.
or like games that look like a complete knockoff of another game. Like I swear like I've never played Schedule One, but I saw like there was like one that was like something like weed something, and I was like what? Like, how are you guys getting away with making this game that looks very similar to this other game? Like, it's like, do you honest? I mean, yeah, I mean, I do believe that people would be stupid enough to buy that game and think, oh, this is Schedule One. Like, I feel like
Mhm.
that happens a lot.
Probably. I don't know how these companies are allowed to do that stuff, but there must be some legal loopholes that they know about.
I think like the
Mm.
It's
or
like
like their
Action 52.
Yeah.
or like their parents are like, oh, it's like you wanted a Paw Patrol. Well, here's um Dog Cop, Dog Cop Simulator 5.
Oh my gosh,
The perfect edition.
it reminds me of my dad, Roscoe. Remember that story? Okay, so my dad is like totally out of touch with stuff, especially video games. And like he just doesn't understand or know anything. And he's retired now, but when he was working, he worked at a hospital, and I guess his
Sorry.
department was like, I guess they like selected like like a family that they were going to like provide Christmas for. Um, so they selected the family that obviously needed the assistance and stuff, and it was really cool. And they found out that, oh my gosh, okay,
This is awful.
so it is. I hate that I laugh, but it's just my dad that makes it so funny. Like, anyway, the son like really wanted like a video game console. I think PS4 was the biggest thing at the time. And my dad doesn't know anything. So they went and got okay, it's like those like just really cheap things. It's like
Oh man.
how do you explain it?
Like those like 800 games in one type things.
Yeah, but I think it was even worse than that. I think it was like one of those like Tiger Electronic things. Like it was just really crappy, like really bad. And this kid was wanting a PS4, and he got just the cheapest Tiger Electronic
Ugh,
type of thing. Oh my.
feel
My
so
dad
bad
told
for
me
that
that, and
kid.
I just could not help but laugh because, like, Dad, why didn't you just talk to me? You know, like, why didn't you just ask me? It's like you have no idea what's going on. I just feel so bad for that kid.
Like he meant well.
Yeah, he did.
Rips it open.
Tiger Electronic 3000.
It's the
I rip.
Soulja Boy console.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
the Soldier game.
Yeah, Soulja
Oh
Boy
man,
game.
that's hilarious.
Didn't he
We
like
need to
get
have a
sick of
Soldier
that and
game
then just kept
marathon.
making them?
I don't know. That was hilarious though. What all? I mean, he had everything on there. Like, I think he had like Smash Brothers Ultimate and all the Call of Duties and stuff. Like, man, he had everything. It's like, why doesn't Xbox, Nintendo, and PlayStation keep up with what he's capable of?
Tell him, Soulja Boy.
Exactly. All right, so is everybody done ranting?
Yeah.
Good. That'd be cool. To maybe talk about what we're playing currently.
Hmm.
Let's go
Who wants
first.
to go first?
Okay.
Haven't been.
Yes.
I kind of want to try that. Dude, I have an iPhone 8, man. I can't do that. Mm.
Mhm.
Proud Clad number 2. Is that one of them? That's the so far 2 people have rage quit on Proud Clad 2 at the marathons. Yeah. It's one of the tougher story bosses, I'd say.
When I was
Oh, the Havoc Sky Tank. That's a
gonna
hard
have
boss too, I think.
bad one.
Mhm. Yeah, the turrets and stuff. Well, you could always just load up another
Oh
file
yeah,
and
yeah. 100.
and accidentally delete the new one.
Yeah, just accident.
Whoops.
Classic. Well, cool, man. Uh, let us know in coming episodes what you think of Claire Obscure Expedition 33 and your Balatro journeys. Ross, how about you? What are you playing?
Well, I mean, like, besides like FF14, like semi-religiously, I mean, I guess I'm like still playing that. And the FF5 Forge Up Fiesta, I mean, I've been playing Mario Kart World like a little bit, but I've mainly just been focusing on like Bravely Default. But I've also been dusting off. There's an RPG Maker game that's like I probably would recommend it unless you're an adult playing it, but it's Demon's Roots. It's a really good game. I haven't gotten too far in it, but like very interesting premise. I mean, and I also started playing. So I do like I get on the treadmill and I'll like walk for like 30-40 minutes like every other day, and I'll like boot up a visual novel. And I'm right now reading Son of a Witch.
Mm.
It's like a dating. I think it's like a dating sim, but like you're in this high school like occult club, and it's interesting so far. Um, yeah, I've been playing those, and then I also tried. Um, so over the weekend, somebody mentioned Archipelago, which is like, which is basically like a randomizer that also you rely on other people to unlock things for you in your game and vice versa. So I went through like an FF1 randomizer in Archipelago, and it was really neat.
I want to do that.
Cool. You and Tim stress me out. You guys play like so many games at once.
I feel like my I feel like my main focus right now though is Bravely, and then I want to finish the Fiesta so I can like go to Bravely and Demon's Roots mostly.
Hmm. Well, cool, man. Let us know all of your progress on those. When's the FF14 7.3? Is that like in August or something? September?
I assume it's gonna be like the beginning of August. We're gonna get a live letter this Friday at like 7 Eastern. So like before I'm like fully awake. But I have a
Yeah.
feeling they'll cover 7.3 and maybe like some feedback about Occult Crescent, and
Mhm.
which I kind of have a little bit of frustrations with that. But yeah.
Mhm. I still haven't done the normal raids, by the way, for 7.2, but I'll get back into 14 at some point, probably later this year after marathon stuff. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just curious about the 14th thing.
Yep, that was relevant. Yeah, because I'll probably watch it sped up while I'm like, I guess like getting ready for work.
Cool. All right, Tim, what are you doing?
I started Final Fantasy 1 on the Xbox.
Tim,
Um,
you're playing the Xbox? What is going on?
yeah, you said something that triggered something in me. Um, it was about Final Fantasy 11's trophies, and I have most of the trophies in FF11. And so I started thinking to myself, if I platinum every Final Fantasy that's on Xbox, I'll have every game platinumed and 80 something percent of 11 on it.
There you go.
Uh, so I think that I'm going to slowly but surely work on that.
Cool.
Plus, I haven't played FF1 in a long, long time, like consistently.
Mhm.
So I want to stream FF1, but I wanted to play it through on Xbox first to kind of get my bearings a little bit, just kind of remember things before I go back and start streaming it again. So,
Mhm.
um, but I'm playing FF1. I started Lunar 2, because I've only beaten that game once on the original PlayStation. So I want to beat that again. So Lunar 2, I started a new save in Final Fantasy 5. I did finish the Fiesta, but I did start a new save in Final Fantasy 5. I do want to try to do it with just Berserkers only. Um, so I don't know. I just slowly but surely working on that one. Um, Final Fantasy 11 and Final Fantasy 14. I've been playing more 14 lately since I've gotten access to the new relics. So I'm doing the relic stuff. And then the other day I was looking at my trophies and I'm like, man, I really want to go back and get all the trophies from all of the expansions. And there's gear that I want to get that's like glamour gear and stuff like that. So I'm playing a lot of that. I'm playing a lot of 11. There's a good campaign going on right now, and they just added new in-game content to upgrade the gear further than you've ever been able to upgrade it before. So I'm working on that on some of my jobs. Um, oh, and Baldur's Gate 3. I started a playthrough with some friends on Baldur's Gate 3. We play once a week. So
Cool. I still haven't. Well, I have played a Baldur's Gate game. I played Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance on the PS2 back in the day, and I liked that game. It was a lot of fun.
that's a good game.
Yeah, I kind of want to go back and play that and the second one again at some point, but I haven't played like the mainline series at all, 1, 2, or 3, but I have all of them on Xbox. So at some point I'd like to, but I say that we'll see what happens.
We still got to get you to play through Suikoden 2.
And I have a huge backlog list, and oh, it's so. I look. I actually have this spreadsheet where I've kept a track of every like new game, every game I've beaten for the first time since 2016. And like 2016, 2017, 2018, like I was just like knocking them out of the park, and it was awesome. And then after that, it just like went down to like 4 games or 3 games or whatever. I've only beaten one game for the first time this year so far, and it's like halfway through the year. But currently,
Hmm.
I'm okay. I've done 120 stars on Mario 64 3 times, and I'm working on the fourth run of it. But well, my son really loves Mario 64 a lot. Um, he wants to play it like every day. So I'll work with him and we'll get stars together and stuff. But I mean, it's one of my favorite games anyway, so it's not like it's troublesome. It's not like I'm playing with the Puyus or something. But and I am working on another FF13 playthrough. I'm almost at the final dungeon. I've been working on a lot of post game stuff, and man, it's so good, dude. The Seath missions and Grand Pulse, I love that content so much, and man, I I was thinking about this 13, like it's probably in my top three of favorite like 100% games to 100%. Like it's so fun. I love getting all the equipment and doing all like the like weapon crafting and stuff. Um I don't know. Like I just every time I play through the game I love it more and I'm almost at the final dungeon and I'm just like I'm on a total high with it. I think it's amazing.
What are your other two?
Uh I don't know. I mean within Final Fantasy it would probably be um well I outside of like the first 4 or 5 games because there's not as much like extra content
Mhm.
in those. Um, I think my top three favorite 100% are probably 7, 8, and 13. Probably 16, 9, and 10 are like at the bottom.
Mm.
16 is extremely boring to 100%, and 10 is extremely annoying. I
Yeah.
hate FF10's post game content. I hate it. I think it's terrible, actually. I like Blitzball, but all the other post game stuff I think is miserable. Do you guys want me to rant on that? Because I definitely could rant on that.
This is the
That ends
episode
this
for it.
episode.
All right,
Well,
I
we
know.
see you guys next time. This was really good.
All right, I'm gonna
Got
talk about FF10. So yeah, I will. FF10 starts like almost perfectly. It might be my favorite start to a Final Fantasy game. And going through the main story and all that, the pacing, the plot, all that is like pretty much perfect until you beat Unalaska. All the way through that, which is most of the game, it just feels like a perfect game to me.
Mhm.
Then after that, I feel like I have nothing to look forward to at all. Because the final dungeon is really lame. The final boss is even lamer. The ending's good, but the post game content is the most miserable experience in the franchise. Like the monster arena, you have to like capture 10 of every enemy in the game. Why? And then all the like super boss content, it's just locked in a list. You just go down a list and click it on a list in the monster arena, and you have the same backdrop for everything you fight. It's just
It feels like a debug room or some shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
it feels so lame. And like the chocobo racing, the lightning dodging, it's just the person whoever designed this stuff, they don't realize what it means to have fun. It's like to them growing up having fun was like trying to run across the road and not get run over or something.
While somebody's throwing birds at you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like that was what they did for fun, just getting hit by birds as they're trying to cross the street. But I will say that the international and HD remaster, the Dark Aeons and Penance, that stuff's really cool because super bosses you should have to go out into the wild. That's how it should be. There's this natural suspense that builds, and that
Mhm.
content's great. But if we're just talking base Final Fantasy X, man, I hate the post game. Final Fantasy 13 is kind of has the exact opposite problem as FF10. 13 has one of the worst starts to any Final Fantasy game. The hallway simulator is very apparent when you first start the game. It's just a straight line. And you can't really do anything with the progression system yet. The fighting just feels very stale because you don't really have any abilities, really. You're just kind of okay, you know, just kind of waiting for him to hit and stuff. And none of that opens up until chapter 3. But by the time you get later in the game and all the post game opens up, it feels perfect to me. So I've realized this about myself, that I like games best whenever I can feel like I have something to look forward to the rest of the experience. Uh, so I would much rather have that, a slow start that ends perfectly, than to have a perfect start that becomes miserable at the end.
Mm.
That's I've definitely discovered that about myself. Final Fantasy VIII is my other favorite Final Fantasy, and I think the first half of the story is not that interesting. I think the second
Mm.
half of the story is perfect to me, but I always feel like I have more to look forward to as I keep playing it, and it's just perfect content at the end.
Mhm.
So I think that's just what I've found about myself.
it. 20 hours.
Mhm.
World near like sitting there. What is
And it was a big mistake for most of the chapters of the game for the party to be split up because most of the time you're kind of playing with like two characters instead of three with the full capabilities of the battle system. So
Yeah.
it takes a long time to really get going.
the good part?
It's kind of like the FF14 thing when it's like just get through a Realm Reborn and then it gets really good. You know, you hear that thing. It's like just play through Realm Reborn and get to Heaven's Word and it gets really good. But um I'd much rather have that though than something that starts good and then ends badly.
Mhm.
Definitely like a good like slow gradual burn for games instead of it just like burning at the beginning and then just fizzling out.
Yeah. I won't talk about Expedition 33 until Brandon's done. Oh, you're good.
Great game. Enjoy it.
Haven't found any.
Good. That's a game that I actually got sad like whenever I was about to beat it because I didn't want it to end.
I really think you would like the Trail series, Gabe. I mean, just because like they're I mean they start I mean they take a while to establish themselves and then like it's just a very nice like gradual build up.
Hmm.
There's so
Well,
many elements to those games too that I love. Like every time I thought, okay, this is the combat system, they would add something new in the next chapter to just make it even better. And that's how they are in all the games, I feel. It's like, okay, this is the combat, I've got it. And then they add this new thing, and they're adding new things with the enemies as well. So like combat's constantly evolving throughout the entire game. And one thing I really love about those games is that, when you start out the game, and I love this about a lot of RPGs where you're like weak. Like you're level 1, you have nothing, and it's very bare bones. But then when you get to like level 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever, you're like, oh, I have so many moves and they're all useful. And there's so many different, there's not a part of combat that doesn't matter. Like it was all very, very, and you feel like you're getting stronger every time you level. I hate games where you feel like you're not getting anything out of leveling. So it's just those are great games. The story is great too. So
yeah, I'd like to try one eventually because I mean I care about JRPGs. I should try one. I think I'm overwhelmed just knowing that they're connected and how
mhm.
long they are. Because
Valid.
man, that would take me years to get through all that. You
It
know?
took me like 3 years to get through 9 Trails games, but that was also like I limited myself to playing them like during like spring/summer.
Hmm.
And I looked at like the total like my in-game time. Like I went through and I like got on an Excel spreadsheet and I was like, I've played almost 900 hours of this one series, which is like, and I even did like some like calculations. I was like, this is like watching One Piece all the way over, like at least twice, I think, which is, I mean, it's a very long anime, very long.
Mhm.
Hmm. Well,
Yeah,
I
they're
think
they're long.
I really liked what we did started a few years ago with the backlog roulette thing, where we just kind of like help each other play um, at least set up this thing where it just kind of helps motivate to play stuff that we have kind of put off for a while. So if you guys want to get back to that, totally let me know. I think I might just kind of like just start fresh with it. I didn't finish all of the games that we had done. Maybe we should just do like one, not three.
I think that's good. I'm definitely down to do that.
I think it'd be cool if we like did that by like length of game too. Like I guess like have one short call it like a short game and then like a long game like assigned to us because like
Mhm.
or just have like the option to either have like two shorts or two longs or one short, one long, or however many shorts, longs, however, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you get a Trails game, you're gonna be playing that game for a while.
Yeah.
Get Dragon Quest 7 and like FF11's like MSQ entire like its entirety.
Wait, is that an option? Can we assign that to somebody? FF11's all the stories. Can we assign that to somebody? Can I do that? All right, let's get down to business. Let's do it. I'll start writing checks.
I
If I
really
can
do
have
want to finish the 11 stuff. Sorry, Ross, go ahead.
like if I could have like a hyperbolic time chamber, like where like 1 year like is like actually like a day or something. And I could
Yeah.
just stay in there and just grime it up.
Yeah.
Well, when I play it on stream at some point, that's gonna be the hardest one to do because playing through rank 10 missions, then all the stories to totality, that's gonna take forever on a new character. I mean, I haven't even done that on my I don't know if I told you guys this. I know I told Ross this, but I found this there was this guy wearing a ring, and this ring is insane. It's insanely great. And I'm like, where the hell do you get this thing? And I looked it up. There was a new storyline, a full like 11 chapter storyline added in 11 in 2023, and I didn't know about it. So I still have a full storyline that I haven't done on my main character. So yeah, I'm like, what the hell? So, but yeah, that's definitely one that takes a while.
Well, I do want to do it. I know I say that, but I did start a new character on Bahamut uh a few months back, and I played up to like rank 3, but I'm trying to like record the footage and a bunch of different stuff, but I'll get back to it. I'm a Mithra.
Mm.
Yeah.
Every time I think of Mithras, I think of like that, like their intro video where it just looks like a really like spicy 3 a.m. workout video.
I don't know what you're talking about. Send it to us.
And yeah, oh my gosh, like the like whatever like whenever you're in the character select screen, it plays like this very like
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I know what you're talking about.
and
Yeah,
like they do like that pelvic thrust and like they do like that fan servicey like butt pose. I'm like this feels. I feel like I'm too young to be watching this, and I'm like 37.
Isn't that the most viewed FF11 video on the
I
internet?
th- I think so because there was like this one guy who would like there's this one guy who would like comment on the video and say that he JO'd to it like every
Oh
day
my
for like
gosh.
he deleted all of his comments, sadly.
Well, thanks everyone for what? I think we
make sure you
covered
post
everything.
the link to that video.
Yeah.
Link to that
Pin it in the comments. Everyone watch it. Let us know what you think. Make sure your kids are in the room. Just kidding.
Oh.
We'll cut this last part out. I swear. Anyway.
1.6 million views.
Jeez. All right. Thanks everyone for joining and watching. Any last words that you didn't get to say that you want to before we go?
Boobs
Yeah, that's a good one.
and anus.
All right.
Dang
Those
it.
are his words. I think we just got to end it there. All right. Tune into the marathon,
Bye.
I think.
We'll talk about the marathon stuff next time. Bye.
Sounds good.
Take care.
Later.